This is my current rotation of notebooks, works, and projects in active use. I've got a lot of other notebooks that I write in, such as this Dollar Tree notebook, $1.25 notebook that writes with fountain pens. But those don't really have a place. In other words, they are notebooks that have spanned the course of several years, some going as far back as 2017. They sit in the back of my drawer, and occasionally I'll find them, and then I'll write like an update paragraph and put it back away. They're not complete, but they're also not abandoned notebooks. They feel more like a vault, something from my past that I still at random write in, however sparingly. So those don't get a place in my rotation because these are daily active use notebooks that have more of a purpose, have more of a plan. It's the new year, 2026, and I always seem to start it with a new book. Every Christmas, my mom gifts me a journal. They always seem to be something that I would never buy for myself, but always find a purpose for. And most of that time, that purpose is the classic diary. It's a little less concrete, definitely more introspective. And I know diaries can be introspective, but I guess when I say classic, there's no work troubles spewed here. There's no big decisions I'm stuck over. Oddly, I tend not to write for long about my days, interactions I've had, or just the generalness of real physical life. Sure, some of that is in here, but it always turns into poetry, short stories, musings, the great questions of the universe pondered upon. No matter the intention I start with, the diary entry always turns into details, stories, wonderings, into shadows and lights, and how that all affects me. Last year, I received this notebook. Now, last year, I don't mean 2025, I mean 2024. So this book is over a year old, still going. I'm not even halfway through it. I notoriously take a very long time to finish books. The one previous to this that I was also gifted by my mom took 4 years to finish. I've made videos about it. I've never heard of this brand before. It is Magic of One, and it has this embossed design of herbs and plants. Going on their website, there's a whole bunch of other designs and will tell you the sort of intention that comes with your specific design on the front. This is the A5 Botanicals Collection 6, I believe. There's several different colors, a few other designs. The big test for me is, can I use my fountain pens? And the greatest joy is always when I can. So this book is a collection of poetry, of stories, dark and light, creative things. It's very open. It feels very full. Moving on from this, the Oasis notebook. A set of 3 that I bought and meant to fully house my handwritten novel. This was the first journal purchase that I did on my own. I did research on these books. I tried to find the right balance between price and quality, and I knew I wanted to go with a higher quality paper. This is made in Japan. It's fountain pen friendly. It kind of goes by a grid design, and where in the past I used to be more into blank pages to give me the freedom of my handwriting, now I really like the lined and gridded pages. After taking a break from handwriting entirely for a year or so, and in that time I was solely using either my computer or the Remarkable 2 tablet, which I've also made videos about. Then I had a bit of a handwriting renaissance. As I said, every year my mom gifts me a journal, and I always use it. So in some form of another, I am handwriting. But this year was the first year in a long time that I started to go back into handwriting full force and was struck with the idea that I was going to handwrite a novel. So in order to put the right intention into undertaking this endeavor, I couldn't just pick one of my random half-completed notebooks and start writing this novel. I had to put some meaning, put some thought, put some effort into this experiment that I wanted to do. So I found these simple notebooks, small. I like the bendiness, the pliableness of them. They remind me of school, but in like a refined way. Really nice form factor, and A5 is like the best size, in my opinion, that you can get that's small enough, but also big enough where you can get a decent amount of work in. So far, the handwritten novel is slow goings. I've got a few chapters. It's mostly a personal project, something that I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with. However, the intention is just to handwrite, and I used to handwrite my stories and novels when I was in grammar school and high school. Then computers happened, and it's been a long time. I wanted to use my fountain pens in a really prolonged, consistent, creative way. Getting 3 notebooks was maybe a little ambitious of me to think that I can handwrite a novel of that size. Not saying that I can't or won't, but quickly I started to have other ideas for these notebooks. One Oasis notebook remains my handwritten novel, and that brings me to my second Oasis notebook. I've given this notebook, this journal, a title page, which normally I don't do. It's called Research, my name, of all things to find interesting or moving or both. And basically, I had this desire to start logging my observations, less like a diary and more geared toward natural observations, facts, lists. I became very into American chestnut trees, so I have a little, I guess you could call it essay, short, factual couple of pages about the American chestnut. Initially, that's how this research, studies, and observations notebook came about. I needed a place to write that down, and what better place than the new Oasis notebooks I bought. Whoa. Goodbye. I like to consider this notebook my field notebook or my field journal. This is my wheat penny list for no other reason to just see it here, because it brings me joy, it brings me satisfaction, it brings me whatever it is that it is when I am able to write it down, and it feels really good to have it in a physical book. And finally, we have a book that I never would have bought myself, again, gifted by my mom. Had I seen this on the shelf as a kid or a teenager, absolutely, I would have wanted something like this. But in my current age, it's more of a nostalgia that I would have passed over for something else. As such, it is a Legend of Zelda themed journal. Interesting choice, as I haven't played the game in a while. It's a hardcover notebook with a shield clasp here. It says official Nintendo license product. I don't really like themed things that belong to TV shows or video games or movies or books. So this became an odd piece for me. But as it turns out, I started replaying Red Dead Redemption 2 and found myself wanting to endeavor to 100% it. Get all the pelts, the hides, build all the garments, the saddles, the camp supplies, complete all the challenges. And quickly, if you know anything about a game like that, there are dozens and dozens of things to keep track of that you may need. It's serendipitous, really. What better notebook to have for game organization than a game-themed notebook? So when I see this notebook, there is going to be no question what is in here. I quite enjoy actually using this for something like keeping track of game status. It's something I've never done before. And, as I've said earlier, the great test is, can I use my fountain pen ink, or fountain pen in general? I was pleasantly surprised that I can indeed use my fountain pen. I wonder what the GSM is. I don't really bother myself with that sort of thing, the GSM page weights and stuff. It sort of gets a little too heavy for me. And I will very much use this notebook to keep track of anything when I decide to venture into the Remarkable 2 games. And I say Remarkable 2 games, not that they're Remarkable 2 games, it's just downloaded files to use the Remarkable 2 almost like it's a newspaper, like crossword puzzles and things like that. Interesting. Very looking forward to it. There's one called Spirit Library that I am really biding my time on starting. I want the moment to be right. So I'm going to go check that out when the time is right. We have my daily journal, my handwritten novel, my observation about life notebook, my gaming journal, and last but not least, always, no journal collection is complete without a little pocket notebook. It's the perfect thing that I just keep popped in my desk, and when I have a quick idea, a quote I want to remember, a song lyric, grocery lists, any sort of anything list, really, that I don't really care about saving, but I need it to be quick access, and it doesn't really have to be pretty or work with a certain type of pen. It goes in here. Even the startings of short script ideas, I will start here and expand later on the Remarkable 2. Basically, what would you call that? Working memory that I can scrap when I'm done. That is actually really it for my journal collection. A total of 5 active use journals. Lastly, I suppose the Remarkable 2 is the last daily thing I use where I write. I actually use this more than I use my laptop. Novel on here, several other short stories. So this is almost like these pile of notebooks all in here. And that's what I really like about the Remarkable 2. It's the digital traveler's notebook, but the great thing is that I don't have to separate the pieces from the notebook. They stay within the collection. That's it for this one. I don't know if anybody else is interested, but I am interested actually to hear what other people use their notebooks for, or how many notebooks they usually have in a rotation at any given time. But goodbye, I guess. That's all.